Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Mr. Rahman, for inviting me to participate. It is going to be quite interesting session since I'm sitting next to Mr. Yadav, who is a strong proponent of what one calls open source, and on my side, somebody who is a strong believer on IP and intellectual property as a way to spur development. Let me just start off by sharing a few thoughts around the use of technology for development and as a development perspective. It is clear that information technology today plays a extremely strong and important role in all aspects of development. And the challenge really is, how do you get technology resources in the hands of the underserved to spur development? And part of the discussion then becomes whether intellectual property has any value or not, and whether intellectual property helps generate revenue, helps generate development, helps generate economic activity. And how do you manage the two issues? One is of cost, and the other one is spurring the economy, because people that create anything actually have a right to then benefit from that creation. Now, at Microsoft, clearly we are a company, like most corporations in the private sector, believe in generating revenue, and revenue gets generated either through a product or through intellectual property. As a writer, somebody that publishes, it is clear that one wants to either get recognized or remunerated for the work that you do. If you are an artist, it is the same issue of intellectual property. So as a company, we believe that it is clearly important for us to do that. Now, on the flip side is, how do you think of development as an issue, and what should you do as a corporation, as a company, to spur development? For us as a company, it is clear that every individual that wants to participate and have access to technology, and particularly technology that we have created, unless you provide them with certain resources or access, they're not going to be able to do that. So how do you think of doing that in a way that it becomes meaningful? So part of the work that I do really looks at, how do we get technology into the hands of the underserved community in a way that it becomes meaningful? So the programs that we run include providing technology access to the underserved community through training programs that we run in over 100 countries by helping set up 70,000 technology learning centers in partnership with over 1,000 nonprofit organizations. The other aspect of the work that we do is, how do we build the capacity of nonprofit organizations to use technology so that they are able to gain from that and provide services that they need to provide in the most effective and optimal way. And finally, we look at it from the perspective of, how do you spur innovation? Innovation at the bottom of the pyramid, at the bottom of the economic pyramid, within the development sector around technology, so that you can actually get great amount of shift that happens, which is not necessarily going to happen at the private sector. So let me give you an example, and with that I can actually close my remarks. We developed a product which is called the Kinect, which is essentially a gaming device. It is, you stand in front of the camera, you can wave your hand, and you can play a game, you can do anything you want, you don't need a control. It's an infrared camera, and it can actually observe movement. It's a gaming device, $300 to $400 million, or actually even more, probably were invested in developing that device, which now sells for $150. But the first thing that happened once after the device came out, as much as people bought it for gaming, people in the development community hacked it to put all sorts of different users on top of that so that it can be used for development purposes. The first impulse on part of the company was, my God, somebody is actually hacking up property and up proprietary software. The second impulse, which was actually the most sane impulse, was, hey, this is actually quite interesting and innovative. What if we actually made code available for non-commercial purposes to these organizations so you could spur more development? And that's one way in which a company can actually allow innovation to happen, not for development purposes, not because we are going to make money over it, but it is because a community can actually use it and now develop effective users. One of them has been, because it is a camera that can actually see, people are using it to provide eyesight to the blind. Another is being put on a robot so that it can go into buildings that have collapsed and start looking for people that are trapped there. A third way people are using, which is actually a more scary part because it is really not a medical device, but medical institutions are using it for imaging purposes. And it really does not have any FDA approval for imaging technology. But people are doing that, and academics are doing that, NGOs are doing that, others are doing that. So in some ways, I think for development to take place, companies will have to start looking at what can they do to spur development and innovation, and what should be controlled from the perspective of intellectual property, which becomes commercial in nature. Thank you.